what up, weirdos? It's your boy Range Dog Range Rizlam, my co-host, co-captain, Cole conspirator, Uncle Juju.
What is up, babies?
How's everybody doing? Welcome back to BXTV, aka Back from Hell, your Spotify and YouTube podcast where you didn't know everything you needed to know. Ayo, episode 77, if I'm correct.
Ooh,
Yeah,
77.
We're cooking, we're climbing, you know what I mean? It's been like 2 years, so, well, it's been like a year, it's been less than that on YouTube. But welcome back, everybody. If you don't know, we're a pop culture comic book nerd podcast where, like I said, we talk about everything you didn't know you needed to know. And I hope you guys enjoyed the last comic book of the week and all that good stuff, because this week we have a banger, in my opinion. It is, oh, by the way, this is comic book of the week. This is something we do at the beginning of every show and also at the beginning of every show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Get us in that algorithm. And with this week, we have DC's Black Label issue 1, John Constantine, Dead in America. Get right into it, you know? Writer is Simon Spurr. The artist is Aaron Campbell, and the colorist is Jordi Belair. And this came out on January 16th, and it was $4.99 when it came out. So it was, you know, it's almost $5, but I think it was worth it. I genuinely believe it was worth it. This, if you guys don't know, it falls in the Sandman universe. Take that how you will. If you don't know, Black Label is a little bit more of their like serious and adult tone books, in my opinion. And from what I've noticed, they're not as like canon. Like it's kind of like people making their own thing. And I believe the guys who wrote it and did the art, like, have always done the Hellblazer series. I could be wrong, but it said they're back, so I guess that means they've been together before. This is my first John Constantine book, like, solo. I've never read a solo John Constantine book. So I had very low expectations, but I had, like, kind of high because of the movies and, like, what I've read. Like, he's appeared in other books I've read, like Swamp Thing and Batman Beyond and other stuff. So I was like, all right, like, I have a gist of what this man's about and what he does. And I'm going to be straight. I enjoyed it. I'm a fan. It's on my pull list now. Like, I will be getting each copy that comes out when it does. I have no idea how long the run is, but I loved all 28 pages, straight up. Like, I wasn't going to buy it, and then the guy at the counter was like, it looked interesting, and me and Tanner, shout out Velocity Comics, we have a very similar taste from what I've noticed. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll give it a shot. Shout out also Garth Ennis's 007. That was a possibility for this week, and I think everybody should go read that. I think it was really good. It's by Dynamite Comics, and Garth Ennis is the writer. But yeah, dude, Dead in America. What the fuck to even start with? Like,
it was something I really enjoyed was how this kind of started.
Oh yeah, no.
Is John Constantine is talking to Juan Ponce de Leon at the Fountain of Youth.
No, that's not how it started. The very beginning of the book, he is a zombie rolling down.
That's right.
Because I love how it started. I loved how it started. The beginning is him rolling, because if you don't know, John Constantine is dead basically in this book, and we'll get into that. He is literally rolling down the Hollywood Hills, and he goes, Are they filming a puh? And then he's like, oh, shit, fuck, damn, ass, because he's rolling. He starts falling down the hill, and they pan out, and it's a fucking porn set. There's a bunch of titties and ass and dudes and girls. And, he was, like, stumbling down a hill, and it was like, and then it pans to, basically, I like the intro. The intro is the first page. Basically tells you, like, where they at, why they're there, and how they got there. It ends with, where does magic go to die? America. And basically, but yeah, so kind of give you a rundown, like the like little thing people would read, like if they wanted to get into the book.
Yes.
At last, he demanded the celebrated creative team of Simon Spurrier and Aaron Campbell have returned to Hellblazer. John Constantine has cheated death once again, but his heart is not beating, his body is decaying, and his friend Nat and his son Noah are on the run in America, wanted for murder. Naturally, it's all John's fault. It always is, but it turns out he dreams himself needs help. Something's terrible has taken root in America, using the sand from Dream's pouch to impose it. John can stop it, and so forth, so forth. And with that being said, John, with what Juju said, the next thing is John Constantine talking to a statue at this fountain,
at the Fountain of Youth in Florida.
Yeah, it's some like knockoff bullshit Fountain of Youth.
Which I think is actually one of the attractions that is in Florida, because I remember seeing that arch.
Like, I would believe it. I just think it's funny that the statue is like this negotiator with the spirit world of some sort, and he basically tells John like straight up like, I'm here to see past all your bullshit and your conniving whatever. Can I get a cigarette now? And John's like, you're a fucking statue and a spirit. Why would I give you a cigarette? And he's like, you've done worse. And he's like, fair, fuck you.
Fair.
Hands him a cig. And I thought it was just like, I just love that, like, every instance I've ever gotten of John Constantine, everybody knows he's just a cheat and lying motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, dude, and a lot of the times maybe even possibly inebriated on several substances at once.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, he was smoking cigarettes the whole fucking book.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
But yeah, dude, and then this, like, little, like, chick walks in, and
cookie girl.
Yeah, she's like a Girl Scout. Ends up being some, like, spirit thing that is controlling America to some extent, because she tells John, like, we'll be watching you, and basically blah blah. John Constantine, this girl Nat, and his son Noah are on the run for murder, and John, like, and they went to America, and John is just like trying to, like, one, he was talking to that statue because he's trying to figure out if it was actually his son, which it is. Two, like, is his son deemed for hell? Yes. And then three, like, is everything John's fault? Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a bunch of other shit. And with the thing we mentioned with Dream, come to find out, Dream shows up because, well, it's in the same.
All right. Do you want me to take over for this one?
I mean, kind of, but not really. Because, like, Dream shows up because he's missing his pouch, his bag of sand.
No, he's missing grains.
Yes,
that were
grains.
Taken out
yes, he's missing grains from the bag.
From the bag. And they flash forward to several panels that are actually from the Sandman comic book. When Dream is Morpheus. Now Dream is a reincarnation of Morpheus, who's basically based off of Daniel, who is the baby that was born in the dreaming from the ghost and the girl who was living with him in the house. So he's like a dream child in conception, so like Dream can reincarnate, sort of. So this Dream is similar but different to the Morpheus that we all know and love. This Dream is a little bit more kinetic and energetic in the way that he says stuff. And also what unnerves John Constantine the most is that this Dream smiles. Which
I love that he says in the book, word for word, he goes, it's a lot. He's like, I'd rather you. He's like, the Dream I know would take any instance to face fuck his enemy. That's his words exactly.
Yeah.
And then he says the whole thing about not smiling, and I was like, yo, I love that. Like, my favorite thing in this book that they did is that, like, John Constantine is John Constantine. Like it almost doesn't matter if you only know him from the movies. Like, this Constantine, in my eyes, fits those roles. Like, do you disagree, or?
No, Um, the only issue that I take with Keanu is that he plays him as American when like a lot of his cultural like nuances and assholery are very 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 old world like European.
That was just
You
time
know?
period. That was just because nobody
Yeah,
nobody was ready to listen to somebody not have an American accent. Play it.
exactly. So now, like, I mean, I'm down for Keanu coming back as Constantine in a new movie, but I would also like a British Constantine as well. Like if they did like a live action show or something, you know?
Well, they're bringing the movie back.
Yeah.
Constantine 2 is coming out with Keanu
Yes.
Reeves, so you're gonna
Yeah.
have to accept him without the accent because I can promise you he's not gonna just randomly.
No.
But
I,
but back to the book.
yeah.
John Constantine basically tells John Constantine like you're the only person who can figure out like how to stop these people and who's
Yeah.
doing it, and he says something about him, and he like thinks about what that girl said, the Girl Scout, and she's like our kin, and he's like, oh shit, these are the
Yeah.
people who have it. And long story short, he ends up saying we need help, like to Nat and his son. He's like, we need help. Long story short, they get to this like they're talking about going to like the bayou of fucking
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Yep.
They get to a golf course. He's like, wait a minute, you guys wait here, hold the fuck up. And he starts yelling. He's saying like, Alec, whatever the fuck you're calling yourself, Swamp Thing. He's basically trying to get Swamp Thing to talk to him. And the dude ends up like the sand pit ends up being like, I don't know these names you speak of. And it's in the Swamp Thing text because I've been reading Swamp Thing, and it's in that like orange yellow font with black lettering.
Yeah.
And it ends on that. So I kind of want to just like speed through what happened because I more so want to talk about what we like in the book, what we didn't like, what we thought was cool, what we think will happen, so forth. And I loved it, bro. I read it a second time today on the toilet, and it was like it had me pulled in. Like I finished shitting. Sorry guys, I finished shitting early, and I just sat there and finished reading it because it was like I was like. The way I like to describe the art, it's very like gothically trippy. Like
yeah, it is. It is strikingly similar to the Sandman. It fits perfectly. If like artistically, it's it's a it's a weird blend of like gothic realism is how I would call it because like a lot of things are like drawn very realistically, but then there's a stylization that is going on in the background. You know.
100%, because
Yeah. And
when they meet Dream,
yes.
or when they introduce Dream, like his whole panel is trippy as fuck, and then when he goes into like who's controlling America, like the whole like red, white, and blue flag panel, that shit was wild looking. I loved every bit of it. And I loved as somebody who like doesn't know a whole lot about Sandman other than the show and like Constantine other than the movie and somewhat of the comics. I love how like they fill you in to what you need to know to like to understand this book.
Yeah. They kind of spoon feed you. You know, it's like little bits and pieces. Like one of the things I thoroughly enjoyed to your point is that a lot of the exposition on the bag was just panels from the original Sandman in the background. So like when they had like when he went to put the girl to sleep, basically the one who stole the bag and like was getting high off of it.
Yeah.
And like he like put her down. It's in the background, whereas in the original comic that was like a huge like thing.
Well, yeah. No, and it makes sense. It's in the background because it's like a flashback.
It's a flashback, but it's like something that if you were not a fan of Sandman, you wouldn't notice.
100%, 100%. I dug it though, man. I really enjoy. I've always, when he shows up in books, I've always enjoyed John Constantine's like sloppy, just fucked up self. Like, for instance, when you said he's talking to the statue, they're like, "This is the most like embarrassing like, what would you call that? Like, not sacrifice, but ritual we've ever seen, because he used like a McDonald's bag instead of like a piece of virgin paper or whatever, and stuff like that. They're like making fun of how like sloppy and like degenerate he is with his magic, and I like that he's like that. He's not this like well kept wizard type motherfucker.
No,
He's a
no,
chain
and
smoking, and like I think it's very interesting that he's dead.
yes,
Like he's using
yes,
tricks and magic to like kind of keep his appearance alive, but like I don't know. I'm curious to like see how that plays into like his whole thing, and I wonder what he's gonna do with Swamp Thing. Like, what is like his plan?
yeah,
Because he said he thinks he could be possibly stronger than anybody and Dream, like in all of them. Like, so
yeah. I kind of agree with that.
I mean, that's what he said in
I,
the book. He
yeah,
literally word for word said that like I'm pretty sure this guy's stronger than all these people and Dream
yeah,
combined. So like we need his help, and that's where I'm very curious to see what book 2 like. What is like, who is Swamp Thing? What is
yeah,
Swamp Thing like? And what are they gonna do in this? Like, what is their role?
yeah. Um, dude, I'm just imagining right now, like Swamp Thing in the next book and how fucking cool that's gonna look.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
And like on top of
I,
how cool it's gonna look, like how are they gonna utilize him? Like
yeah,
what kind of
and
conniving tricks is John Constantine gonna do to? Because like, there's no way he doesn't somewhat have something in like stored in plan like
yeah,
in place to like kind of like use Swamp Thing. You know what I mean? Like he knows he can do something that we don't know about. So what
yeah,
is that something? And what like I'm interested. That's why I put it on my pool
yeah.
list, and I'm definitely gonna
Mhm.
read more. And with that being said, I definitely think I'd give this like a straight up 9, like a
Yeah,
flat 9, like all around art and story.
yeah. I think this may be mm, one of the top 3 of my favorites so far.
Okay, hell yeah.
Um, yeah.
I only say not. I
Um,
only say 9 because I just I don't want to be handing out 10s. It
yeah,
it just like I really love the book, like to the point where like I'm thinking about like depending how this series goes, I may get a slab of issue 1, like a graded book of
yeah,
the first one, because I have this thing where I'm trying to do is like have a wall of my favorite runs
yeah.
graded. But that's the only reason I didn't give it a 10. I think it's worth.
Um,
I think it's definitely worth checking out and adding to your pool list.
I also think that this might be a beginning of sort of a collection of the game in verse, because I think somewhere down the line in this comic book series they may introduce the American gods, which I think is completely like with Constantine, just the fact that Sandman and Constantine exist in the same comic book, and they mentioned Morpheus in American Gods. It's all one big jumble of fun.
Yeah, no,
You
for
know?
surely. I can see that happening. I'd be here for it. I'm like I said, I'll be biting my nails until book 2 comes out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think everybody should check it out. I think you're sleeping and cut those shackles. Read outside
Yes.
your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Don't miss out like I did for a while. You gotta explore all these good comic books that we get. And with good comic books being the topic of right now, and Juju saying top 3, that reminds me, one of our things tonight is what are your favorite titles of 2024 so far? We're only, like about a month, not even a month into 2024, but we've had some like pretty good issues come out so
Yeah.
far, and a couple new runs starting. Like Avengers Twilight,
Yep.
John Constantine, uh, Ultimate Spider-Man, and then you have Green Lantern has put out an issue, Conan's put out an issue. Like You have Cobra Commander, Duke.
Yeah.
You know, like Blood Drick by Image. There's a lot of different stuff out there. So I think we should probably talk about like what are our favorites right now. And for me, I'm gonna so for series that just started in 2024, I'm gonna have to say that fuck man. I'm gonna say Duke. I'm gonna say Duke. Duke's issue 1 was like it really pulled me in,
Yeah.
and that was something I did not expect to love, and I want more. I can't wait for issue 2. Cobra Commander was really fucking good too, but Duke, I don't know why, just like I thought Cobra Commander was gonna be the one that did it, but I thought Duke was fucking immaculate. No complaints one bit on that issue. That is a firm 10 on my scale. And for things that are continuing, I think Conan and Green Lantern. I have to throw Green Lantern in there. They're really doing stuff that I like, and I'm excited to see it continue on in 2024. So those would be my picks. Those would definitely be my picks, but I think if you're not reading Conan the Barbarian by Zub or whatever his fucking, I think it's Jim Zub, dude is crushing it. Dude is crushing it, and the art is fucking great. So don't sleep, dudes.
All right. So Constantine being, I think, my favorite new release. Ongoing, I would have to say Gargoyle of Gotham because I was just so blown away by those 2 issues. And I'm not 100% sure, and I'm pretty sure Rainey would tell me if the 3rd issue dropped. But I loved the art, I loved the storytelling, I love the fact that it's new villains and it's a newer kind of younger Batman who's dealing with like psychological issues that like a normal Bruce Wayne story kind of wouldn't necessarily touch on. I also loved the idea of Bruce Wayne being a fucking inmate at Arkham at some point.
No, for surely. I agree. I agree,
like
and
the
that's
fact that Arkham had a kid's wing is kind of like a head scratcher. Like,
well, I mean, that's just you have to put a new twist on shit. If you just do the same thing, it's like, what's the point of us reading it? Like, you know, like the book probably would just be meh if it was just an adult wing. Like okay, like great. He somehow doesn't. It wouldn't make sense either writing wise to be like, oh, he was an 18-year-old and doesn't remember it, and you know what I mean, like.
Or he just had expensive therapy that, like, no, he got sent to Arkham because he beat up a homeless guy, like,
who did end up being his parents' murderer, though.
Yeah. Which also, again, thank God for breaking that trope because, like, they did a whole fucking show about who killed, like, Thomas and Martha Wayne, and I still don't think we got an answer out of that.
Wow.
Like, not any.
You missed the point, though, if that's what you think in that book. That guy killed them, but somebody made sure he killed them. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't like we don't have the answer on who decided why they died. We don't. We just know who actually pulled the trigger.
Who actually pulled the trigger. And I liked the fact that they did something. They did that instead of like the whole like, oh, you know, may have been the Joker, may not have been.
Well, I mean, they kind of have done this though. I gotta give credit where it's due. The Court of Owls did this whole bit. The Court of Owls were the ones who decided that his parents had to die. So like, I'm gonna give credit where it's due. That like, what's his fucking name? Is Capullo and Snyder or whatever that dude's name is?
Yeah.
Fuck, what is his name, dude? Court of Owls. Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Scott Snyder kind of did that bit already. I'm just saying, bro. Like, and that's just ignorance on you not having read it, not like in a bad way, but
but like,
I'm just saying though.
Again, it's a move I appreciate.
I get that. I'm just saying though. Like, I gotta say he did that kind of like first. I am excited though.
Yeah.
I am excited because you didn't touch on it. I'm excited to see where Green Lantern goes because it's.
Oh yes. That was my third actually.
Because it's not the same council. It's not the Blue Man. So, and all the Guardians are like split up, and some aren't, and shit like that, and some are dead. So,
and you can also tell that like it's suffering from horrible mismanagement.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So I'm definitely curious to see what Hal Jordan has in store for us. I saw a preview to the next cover. I'm very excited. It had no spoiler or nothing. I just like the cover.
To be honest with you, he's my from the Twitch podcast that we did earlier today. He's my second favorite like character that I didn't really like, but then actually read and like kind of found an appreciation for.
Oh yeah, nah, dude. I've been going to Velocity and picking up just random old Green Lantern issues. Like I got the first appearance ever of Necron, like in Green Lantern, the first run. So, or it's not the first run. It's the first run of Tales of the Green Lantern Corps. But Necron's first appearance, so I was really stoked on that. But I'm right there with you. I didn't have this appreciation for Green Lantern until I started reading him, and like now I just like want I like want to know all the history about fucking. There's certain lanterns I don't care for than others, but it is. I take what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But you know. Huh?
No, I was just gonna say I loved the art and I loved the storytelling on that book. So, like straight up.
And I'm curious to see how and when Sinestro comes back into play. Because he just flew off the Earth. He flew off Earth back to his home planet after like destroying a big chunk of it. So, like, what happens now? Like, what are his plans? Like, what is he doing? Because he like. I mean, obviously he just wanted to get home, but like he clearly wanted to get home for something. Like, I feel like he wouldn't have done all that for nothing. So, and he has that ring. So, there's a lot. Like, I hope this is like at least 30 issues or so. You know what I mean? I don't want this to be like 10 issues and done. Like, I want it to be. I don't even know if they said how long this is supposed to go on for.
Yeah.
But I think there could be some cool shit that happens. Like, and they tied in Green Lantern with Night Terrors and shit and like all that stuff. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully they give Hal Jordan the shine he deserves and that he's getting right now, and we have more to look forward to.
Definitely look more to look forward to, and I honestly kind of want to know what's going on with Earth right now that they pulled out. You know, Earth left to its own devices for.
Well, they said why. They said why. They said it's because.
I know why.
They said it's because they have all the. They said Superman alone could do what all of you do. Like, so they're like, why do we don't even need to protect them? And I was like, I mean, I guess I get that, but like, he can't do it.
Kind of a dick move.
Yeah, he can't do it all at once. Like, is he just gonna fly everywhere at one time? Like, fuck do you mean, dude? So we'll see. I have high hopes. I mean, there's some decent stuff coming out from DC. But I think the real thing is this Ultimate Spider-Man, because we're seeing skyrocketing prices on the first issue like a week after. So Marvel has to see that and be like, all right, people love this shit. Like, people want this shit, you know? Like, there's no way they'd see that and be like, we did something wrong.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Ultimate Spider-Man was probably one of the best Marvel books so far that I've seen, that we've read. That
I'm surprised you didn't
and
say. I'm surprised you didn't say Avengers Twilight because you really liked that one.
I did. But here's the thing, though. Like, it's one issue so far. I really want to see what happens in the second and third issue. Because like again, it could be all pop, but then no follow up.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen, but I reserve judgment.
I'm curious to see who pops up in Avengers Twilight. Like clearly,
Yes.
like I feel like there's other people we haven't seen that are gonna pop up that we're familiar with. But the thing with Ultimate Spider-Man is this is a new universe, and like we get to. I mean, so is Avengers Twilight, but it's like I think Marvel is really trying to push this to be like a big thing, you know? Like I think they're gonna use all their muscle to make sure this does well. And that's where I'm scared for Avengers Twilight. Like when it came out this week, I feel like it didn't get enough buzz because of Ultimate Spider-Man like skyrocketing everywhere. Because I mean, we're seeing 25. Like I saw shit sold for 60 and 50. You know what I mean? So, and that's just the A cover variant, like the normal original cover. It's not the 1 in 100 or anything. So, I think it kind of took away from that, and that makes me scared because it's like, all right, are the people writing on this gonna be like bummed out? Like, are they gonna like lose stamina? Like, because I don't want them to, because personally, I think I could end up loving Avengers Twilight more than Ultimate Spider-Man, because the only way Ultimate Spider-Man is gonna pull me in more is if we see an Ultimate Carnage, an Ultimate Venom, and like we see a lot of Kingpin.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know if that's gonna happen. But they might surprise me. But I think Avengers Twilight has this room to be like it's more mysterious. Like we have really no idea like who could show up and what could happen.
Yeah.
Where Spider-Man's like we kind of know like this is Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like we know his villains. We know who's gonna team up. I mean, maybe not team up, but like you know, like I feel like there's less. I feel like there's less mystery there than compared to Avengers Twilight, and I think that's where people are sleeping on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just so excited on Ultimate Spider-Man, they're not even thinking about this. I don't know. Maybe it's just not what we think it is. You know? Maybe it's just not what we're saying it is. Maybe we're sucking the tit for no reason.
No. I think our opinions are valid. And I'll tell you why, man. That book was like artistically on an art level, again, one of those pick a panel, you could put it up as a painting.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's what I was saying last night on the Twitch pod. Make sure you follow us at BrainDeadXTV on Twitch at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday and Saturday. But I was saying on Twitch that I love how, like, when Luke Cage is, like, sitting there as, like, Don Julian of this, like, underground superhero org, there's just so much detail in his skin and, like his walker and all that shit. And, like, I don't know. I thought it was awesome. I loved it. I loved every bit. And I'm excited to see what they do with this Red Skull scenario. Like,
yeah. I also like...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I also like the social commentary that they had on kind of like and I hate to use the term, the Gen Zer like approach to history, which is like, maybe this atrocious, Che Guevara wasn't that bad of a guy. I'm gonna put a t-shirt on.
I mean, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't even look at it like that. I look at it more like I'm just excited to see this old version of Captain America fight this old futuristic version of Red Skull. Like, and what villains Red Skull ends up bringing to the table, and what people, Luke Cage, and like, are we gonna get new superheroes since like a lot of them died on H Day? Like,
yeah,
are we gonna
that's
get?
what I'm thinking.
Are we gonna get like their kids? Like, what's like you know? So that's more so what I'm interested in. I'm interested in like what like all this like that's what I'm saying, where I think it's a little bit more exciting than Ultimate Spider-Man, just in the sense of like we don't really know who's gonna show up and what's gonna show up. Like, so
Yeah.
I mean that's my 2 cents. I think if you didn't read it, and I also love Scotty Young's cover on it. I thought it was hilarious, like doing the spoofed to Twilight Saga, like dude, that was awesome. The sparkling can, like, so that's just me though.
One thing though, I'm surprised that you didn't mention is the fact that like in Ultimate Spider-Man, like since it is essentially an alternate universe, yeah. So you're gonna have commonalities. So you're gonna have like your
I did mention that.
incarnations of various.
I did mention all that.
Did you? I think
Yeah.
you did. Yeah, you're right.
You
You're
just
right.
didn't respond back to me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's predictability in a way because it's
Yeah, I
like
said that.
you kind of
That's what I
Whereas
said.
with all right, I'm reading your whole point.
No, you're good. That's what I'm saying is like you
no,
have you have the predictability of like knowing like, all right, it's the Ultimate Universe, but like we know his villains, we like all this, that, and the third. We don't know who's left in Avengers Twilight, whatever. Like, you know, like we're not like there's so much to be had. I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. It comes out again in what, like a month or so. So we'll be coming back here and telling you if we're disappointed and if Ultimate Spider-Man is just kicking ass, you know? Like, I don't think Ultimate Spider-Man is going to be bad. I don't want anybody to think that's what I'm saying.
No.
I just think there's a little bit more excitement to be had if you think about it in the way I'm thinking of it, you know? But it depends if it hooked you, you know? Some people, it didn't hook them because they just love reading Spider-Man and they wanted a good new Spider-Man series, and then I understand. Like, I know Spider-Man's been dry recently other than Gang Wars, so like, or Miles Morales. Like, I like the Miles Morales series, but
yeah. I mean, like, look, I'm sorry, but Peter Parker, to a certain extent, can't stay 16 years old forever. Like, you know, at some point, I honestly relate to adult Peter Parker, and then like going off and being Spider-Man.
well, you do
I kind of
now.
relate to that a little bit more now, and I think it's tailored kind of suited me now. But that's an also natural progression for a character.
Well, that's what I think Ultimate Spider-Man is being catered towards, is like people who always love Spider-Man but need like an adult fix for it.
Yeah. Like there's and again, like if you don't like it, it may not necessarily be for you, but it doesn't knock the fact that it's still an incredible book. You know?
Oh, 100%. 100 fucking percent. And I
And
think
also like a masterclass in how to reinvent something.
that is also very true. They did a really good job of just like making it fresh and like, and that's also, I'm not trying to kick a dead horse, but that's why I liked Avengers Twilight, because it was like fresh.
Yes.
It didn't feel like something I've already read. Like,
yeah, it was fresh in a different way, in that like in Ultimate Spider-Man, there's that relationship between J. Jonah Jameson and Peter Parker, and in the beginning, it plays out exactly the same way it would in our universe, where like Parker, get in here, and then find out that like he's not his boss.
no, he's
his
talking to
uncle
Uncle
is
Ben.
his boss. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
so
100%.
but like with the Avengers, it was a brand new, not really brand new, it felt lived in, but at the same time a new experience because it's a blank slate. You know, like
That's what I'm saying. Like with the whole H Day scenario, like
yeah,
like That's what I'm saying. Like I'm really curious to see who's left, who like went under the rug and like out of sight, and like we'll see. We'll see in issue 2.
Yeah.
And with that being said, my dudes, I hope this was interesting. I hope you like comic books, and next week it may be something about movies. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like maybe we'll change it up. But make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe, and you keep following on TikTok, YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, all that stuff. And remember, never offended and always recommended, my dudes. Later.